at this intersection. And that, I think, is the point about the inefficiency of this solution. With an overpass, so that's the bridge in the distance, 2 miles away, and the road seems to be completed. They now have road markings, they've put in the guardrails, all the guardrails have been installed. They also have reflective markers, at least on one side. Yes, some work remains to be done on the other side. All right, so there are reflective markers on the guardrails on one side. Some work needs to be done on the other side. And so traffic coming off the bridge in the distance will have to drive 2 miles west or east to get to this intersection. But in order to merge, only traffic heading into Georgetown will merge, right? Traffic heading into Georgetown will merge, but traffic heading south, it says yield. So you're going to end up waiting at this intersection, right? As the sign says, it's a yield sign there. If you are waiting to cross over the intersection, especially at rush hour, you're going to wait a long time for this traffic to pass so that you can cross over this traffic flow to get to the southbound lanes, right? The southbound lanes take you towards Diamond and Park South. And what's going to happen eventually is you're going to have a long line of traffic backed up in this lane. A long line of traffic backed up in this lane, waiting to turn left. In other words, to cross over the traffic flow and head south. Now, if you had an overpass, for those of you who still don't understand the logic of an overpass, if you have an overpass, there will be no waiting because traffic heading north-south on Heroes Highway would continue to flow unobstructed. The traffic coming off the bridge would either merge using a entrance ramp or will cross over above, that's what the overpass is for, cross over above Heroes Highway to the other side, to the south side, and then eventually merge with traffic heading south. And that's a solution that still has to be implemented regardless of what's being done now, because the problem of traffic flow and traffic congestion will persist until that problem is solved. Now we're heading west along this access road towards the bridge. You can see the bridge in the distance. That's the direction in which we're headed. But I want to get to the intersection with that road that runs beside Windsor Estates. And I wanted to see what solution they implemented. Because as some people pointed out, they're not building an overpass at that intersection. It's going to be an intersection. But will they allow traffic to flow north-south along that road? Apparently not. So it seems as if they're connecting these side streets to this access road, but does that constitute another way, right, to get onto the bridge? In other words, once they've connected this cross street to the access road, then instead of going to the roundabout, traffic will simply use these local side streets to get onto this access road. And this is another local street being connected to the access road. Again, if you're heading to Georgetown, instead of going all the way out to Heroes Highway, you could simply take a left here, turn off into the local neighborhood, and then find another way. Morning! And then find another way to get onto the highway, Heroes Highway. So this is what is happening here in the local neighborhood. We're now in Providence. This road, this access road, to the bridge passes through Providence, local neighborhoods in Providence. This new multi-unit condominium is inside of the Windsor Estates compound. So Windsor Estates have started building multi-unit housing, I think in the past year or so, year and a half or so. And apparently they've completed this building. Don't know if it's occupied as yet. But they started building multi-unit housing, multi-unit either rentals or condominiums in Windsor Estates, as you can see in the distance. A new one on the construction. And so what happens is that all of this real estate now runs beside a very noisy highway. This is going to be 24/7 noisy. And of course it's free. The bridge traffic to cross over the Demerara Bridge is going to be toll free. That basically increases the volume of traffic because people will make unnecessary trips because of course it's free. You don't have to pay a toll. So why not make an extra trip over the bridge to pick up something instead of minimizing your trips, consolidating your errands. Now because it's free, people are going to be making multiple trips across this bridge, adding to the traffic on this highway, this access road, and increasing noise pollution, air pollution, and other pollution in this neighborhood, which is in fact supposed to be a rather upscale neighborhood. In other words, this was, when it was envisioned, one of the more expensive neighborhoods, Windsor Estates and the surrounding communities, more expensive neighborhoods to live in. But now you have a major road running through those neighborhoods, and it will affect the value and the quality of life. But we're getting to that intersection where I'm headed. I want to see what the solution was. What did they come up with? Whether they would make it possible for traffic to cross over this access road. It seems as if they did connect, right? So in the distance there you can see that's the intersection. All right, that's the intersection. They've put a sign there, a road sign there. So they've connected that intersection to this access road. I've actually walked from the intersection. I've walked at least a quarter, approaching half a mile. So the intersection at Heroes Highway is about a quarter to a half of a mile, 3/8 of a mile away from where we are now. And the remainder of the distance to the bridge is about a mile and a quarter. So in the distance, that's about a mile and a quarter. And the solution we're looking at is here. What do they do about this road that runs beside Windsor Estates? As you can see, Windsor Estates is building multi-unit condominium housing right at this intersection, which is going to be, of course, right up to the road here. And like I said, you're going to get noise pollution, air pollution, dust pollution, because what happens if you live close to a road like this, if you leave the windows open, dust settles on your furniture and on the walls and on every surface in the building. I know that because I live close to a road in the city of Georgetown, and there's no battling that dust. You have to keep the windows closed and air condition your rooms, or you have to be dusting every day. So this is the solution that they came up with at this intersection. It seems like I predicted before that this will be another way to get onto the bridge. So out there is Red Road, right? We've walked along this road before. Out there is Red Road. These buildings is a sheriff homes, and this road that runs beside Sheriff Homes on the south side of the access road is now connected to the access road, but you can't cross over. There's no way for you to cross over to the other side. That's looking north. North towards Windsor Estates. So this road runs besides Windsor Estates. All right, this is the new multi-unit housing that they've constructed at this intersection. That's looking back towards Heroes Highway, about half a mile away in the distance. Right, about half a mile away in that distance, in that direction. That's where the roundabout is, the entrance. And this, as you can see, is the access road. Now you can't cross over the access road. There's a divide, a center divide. You can see, of course, that hasn't stopped some vehicles. You're gonna have the people, the SUVs, who decide that, look, I'm gonna go where I wanna go. And that is some tire marks from vehicles climbing over that median. Now, in other developed countries, this median would be a waist height, right? That yellow median would be a waist height jersey barrier, waist high jersey barrier. And that actually is done for safety. They still need to do that in Guyana. They've done it on the East Bank Public Road. They need to extend those jersey barriers everywhere because it prevents head-on collisions. So apparently bridge traffic coming off of the access road can actually turn into this road besides Windsor Estates. So you're going to have traffic turning off of the road behind Windsor Estates and now heading towards, that would be the Eccles to Baggotsville. Or Bagotstown. Eccles to Bagotstown interchange. So that's another way to get off of this access road, not having to go all the way to Heroes Highway. It'll be interesting to see how much traffic actually uses. But what that means is that bridge traffic is now going to pile onto this. Right? Bridge traffic is now going to pile onto this highway. And you'll eventually get traffic congestion on the new road. But that's it, guys. That's what's happening in this neck of the woods. So guys, that's what's happening in this neck of the woods. We've done the walk along Heroes Highway. We've done the walk along this access road behind me towards the bridge. And I've shown you the intersection now. That's the intersection between the road that runs besides Windsor Estates and the new access road. As you can see, you can't cross over that road. You can't cross over the access road. But it creates another exit for traffic. So traffic coming off the bridge, that's traffic behind me. Coming off the bridge will be able to turn left onto the road behind me, that is the access road running besides Windsor Estates. And traffic coming from Red Road, now behind me, will be able to join traffic heading onto the bridge. That is what I was wondering, what would happen to this intersection. Now we know. If you want to see more content like this, click like and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening here in the fastest growing country in the world. We'll be back to see what happens when traffic starts flowing and the bridge is officially open, and we'll be able to analyze traffic patterns in future. But share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening in the fastest growing country in the world. Later!